call. One wedding on 2021.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live webinar brought to you by immigrationquestion.com, powered by My Legal Software. My name is Max Castro, and I'll be your host for today's session, Visa Bulletin Mastery Strategic Immigration Planning Using Priority Dates and Filing Windows. For many families and professionals, the Visa Bulletin is one of the most confusing parts of the immigration process. Priority dates, filing charts, and shifting deadlines can determine years of waiting or the chance to move forward right away. Understanding how to read the Visa Bulletin and using it strategically is crucial to building the right plan for yourself, your family, or your employees. That's why we're here today to break it down with clarity and provide actionable guidance on how to track your case and to anticipate filing opportunities and reduce uncertainty in an unpredictable system. We're honored to be joined today by attorney Naresh M. Gehi, a distinguished immigration and trial attorney based in New York and the principal attorney at Gehi and Associates. With over 2,000 cases successfully handled, Attorney Gehi
20,000
is a
cases.
nationally
20,000
recognized
cases.
figure in immigration law and has been honored with awards such as Super Lawyers and America's Best Lawyer. He has advised world leaders, spoken before the New York State Senate, and is a frequent legal commentator for the major outlets like CNN, BBC, and the New York Times. We're pleased to have you join us today, Attorney Gehi. You are welcome.
How are you? Hope all is doing well.
All good from my side. Attorney, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. I've handled more than 20,000 cases, just a slight correction, not 2,000. So it's fantastic being with you. So now, what is the Visa Bulletin? So for people who don't know, we're going to start with the basics with immigrationquestion.com. Visa Bulletin helps you to know about the priority date, which means, for example, you sponsored someone under the family based immigration category, or you have sponsored someone under the employment based immigration category. So, immigration has a system wherein they tell you how long it's going to take for your family member to come to the United States, or how long it's going to take for your employee to get a green card. So that is just scratching the surface about what is, you know, this visa bulletin all about. Of course, there are other categories, EB1A, investors visas, that we can talk later about. So now, a lot of people think that I'm going to sponsor my brother, my sister, my father, my mother, my married son and daughter, my unmarried son and daughter, to the United States. So immigration law has different categories. So the first one is, what happens if you are an American citizen and you're sponsoring your spouse or your children under 21? So Max, the good thing is that if you are an American citizen and if you are sponsoring your spouse or your children who are under the age of 21, luckily for you, there's no priority date. So you cannot see that in the visa bulletin because you're free to sponsor and they qualify as immediate relatives of US citizens. Immediate means someone who's very near and dear to you. So, example, your husband is near to you, means very near to your heart. Your children are very near to your heart and they're under 21. Secondly, your parents are very near and dear to you. So, if you're an American citizen, you have no waiting period, you can sponsor them immediately. So, immediate relative means, generally in layman's terms, means no waiting period. you are not subjected to the visa bulletin. Hallelujah. I wish this was the case with every category in immigration, but unfortunately, it's not. So that's about immediate relatives, Max. Am I clear about that? So,
Yes,
what
sir.
did we
Very
speak
clear.
about? We spoke about spouses of US citizens. We spoke about unmarried children under the age of 21. Then we spoke about parents of US citizens. They have no waiting period. That's what it generally means. But for you to process the paperwork, it takes approximately 1 to 1.5 years, so a year to a year and a half for them to come to America. That is what it means for immediate relatives. So now, as far as the visa bulletin is concerned, it's generally meant for people who fall under different categories. The first category is about you are an American citizen. Take an example of John, who's sitting next to me. He is an American citizen. He is sponsoring his son, who is living in the Philippines, who's 23 years old. So now he's over 21. John is over 21 years. He lives in the Philippines. His father is an American citizen. Because he's over 21, he is subjected to the visa bulletin, which means now John's son's name is Steve. He's in the Philippines. He's asking his father to sponsor him. The father says, Mr. Gay, can you sponsor him? I'll say, yes, sure. Can he come right now? The answer is no. Because he is an unmarried son of a US citizen over 21. He's 23 years old. Now, there are other people waiting in line in the Philippines. So it's going to take some time for him to come here. Right now, they are processing cases from 2016, July. So you're looking at least 10 years for Steve to come to America. That's an easy way. So that is what is going on right now. 15 June, July 2016 is going on. So you're looking at Steve will have to wait for 10 years if he sponsors, today. So if suppose someone has sponsored him 7 years ago, they have to go back and subtract the timeline and see how many years it's going to take. So suppose if someone sponsored their child in 2020, all right? So 2016 is going on, so they have to wait for 4 years. Easy, done. Now, somebody just got a green card. Hallelujah. The lady is very happy. Now, her boyfriend is living in Australia. Now she's, yay, I'm going to get married to him. I'm going to call him to America. So now she's a green card holder. Now, for the green card holder, they are subjected to the priority date. So right now, what is going on is September 2022, which means on an average, it's going to take 3 years for her to call a husband to America. So Jenny has married, you know, Robert, and Robert right now is in Australia. So if Jenny wants Robert to come, and if she's a green card holder, the average time it's going to take is around 3 years. Because right now, what is going on is September 1st, 2022. But now Robert has two children, and they are 16 years and 14 years old, and he married her. So even they can also come because they are under the age of 21, provided the marriage between the parties occurs before the 18th birthday of the child. So those children also can come to America, Max. How do you like this?
Very short and concise, but very explanatory, attorney. Thank you.
That's what we need to do.
Yes, sir. I also
Now,
wanted to ask,
please.
with many people who struggle with the difference between dates for filing chart and the final action dates chart, can you break down how each should be used as well?
Yeah, so generally when people are in the US, then they can file early. That's what it means in layman's terms. But when they're outside the country, you cannot do much, which means you can begin the process. But until the priority date is not current, they will not get the green card. That's what it means. So you only get the green card when the priority date is 100% correct. Current. That's the difference. Filing dates means you're starting to send in the applications, you're doing everything, but immigration is telling you, okay, you can start the process, but you have to wait for you to get your green card until the priority date is current. That's what it means. Good question. Now, you have another situation here, unmarried children over the age of 21 for green card holders. So I just got my green card right now. The company sponsored me, and my name is, you know, Juan Gonzalez. And my son lives in Mexico, and I just got my green card. He's 27 years old. He's not married. I can still apply for him because he's unmarried. He's over 21. I just got my green card. I'm allowed to do that under the F2B crack category. And for that, right now, 2016 is going on. So, which means it's going to take a good 10 years for him to come to America. But there's another unfortunate condition attached to this. If he gets married in between, he's gone. So he'll have to stay single for the next 10 years if he wants to come under his father's green card. He cannot get married. So that's going to take 10 years. The next category is for people who have married sons and daughters who live abroad. So take an example. You have, a lady living here, and her name is Stephanie Jones, just a fictitious name, and she has children living in New Zealand. They are married. She wants to get them here. It's going to take very long because right now, August 2011 is going on. So you're looking at a 15-year wait for them. So if they apply, it's going to take 15 years for them to come in. And if you have brothers and sisters, if you're sponsoring, right now it's 2008, and India has gone back to 2006. Mexico has gone to 2001. Philippines is to Jan 2006. So every country has their own backlogs, which means that what I was talking to you about was the general chargeability, but every country that has a lot, which has a lot of people living here from their continent, has bigger backlogs because there's a tremendous demand in layman's terms. So to make a long story short, in layman's terms, if you have children, if you're an American citizen, you're sponsoring, the child is over 21, you're looking at nearly 10 years. And if you're looking at green card holders, sponsoring them, you're looking at 3 years for your spouse and for your children to come to America. And the next one is if you have unmarried children who are over 21 under the green card holder category, it's nearly 10 years. And if you have married sons and daughters, consider it 15 years. And if you have brothers and sisters, it's 2008, 17 or 18 years. Bad. So the visa bulletin for family-based immigration is best for people who are green card holders. It's, who are getting married 3 years, or US citizens, it's excellent. But for rest of the categories, it's basically, if you file now, you should always file it because you never know when this can become current for some countries. So if the demand goes down in the country, automatically, the numbers start moving. So always keep applying for your relatives. That's rule number one. Now, let's talk about some other things. Do we have any questions so far? Does anyone have a question? It's a live show. And if anyone has a question, we'd love to answer them. So this is
Yes.
a little bit about the family-based immigration category. Max. Max, you're doing a very good job for immigrationquestion.com.
Thank you, attorney. We just have a couple of questions from our end. What strategies can applicants and attorneys use to maximize opportunities when a filing window opens?
All right. So, example, if you're a green card holder in America, and if you have a green card for 4 years, become a citizen so you're not subjected to the visa burden. Simple as that. If you're sponsoring your spouse, that is known as jumping, getting a leap to the next level. That's the number one thing I would do. That is very, very important. we should make sure that no sooner you become a citizen, life will be much easier for you. Rule number one. Second, what I can say is that if you have children who are single, ask them to get married to a green card holder or to a citizen. That's the other way for you to kind of expedite the process. Third, if you have children who are very bright, they can go come in under the EB1A category, which is very hard, needs a lot of publication, etc., etc., and make sure that the case doesn't get denied because it generally can have adverse consequences upon you. So that's a very tricky thing. And I've seen once denied, it's more like a blemish on your record. So you have to make sure, it's not a good thing to have it. And then I've always seen like, immigration giving a very hard time when cases get denied later on. So you have to make sure that you fire with all your guns and see what happens. And it's better sometimes not to take a risk. That's what I tell people. Now, the next important thing let's talk about is basically final action dates, which means dates are current. Luckily for the first category, let's talk a little bit now about the employment based categories, and that's going to help a lot. And so I'm just going to talk about the general categories as to what's going on. Now, employment based first category for most countries except India, China, EB1A is current. So, which means that if you're Mr. Brilliant, you won the Nobel Prize, or if you have many, many publications, immigration looks at everything under a microscope. And if you're, someone who's very highly qualified, except for India, which is again 2022, and China, which is 2022, other categories are current. So they can directly apply for the green card. So that's one good thing for if you're from another country. Second category is meant for people who have advanced degrees. If you have an advanced degree, for most countries, it's September 2023, so it's going to take 2.5 years, 3 years for you to get the green card. But if from India, it's going to take much longer. India, it's now for the second category, it's January 2013. And for China, it's 2023, 2020, Philippines 23. So, in a sense, the second category is bad for India, and it's very bad for India, okay for China, and for other countries, it's only 2 to 3 years. Third category again for employment-based immigration, which is known as skilled workers. It's April 2023, which is nearly the same. So if you're from the Philippines or from any other country, Philippines is 2021. For India, it's very bad again. May 13th, 2020. It's for India, it's 2013. So you're looking at 13 years for Indians to get the green cards under the EB2 and under the EB3. For China, you're looking at around 6 years. And China is not bad actually. So, but worst is for India. That's around 12 to 13 years. So that's not really good. So this is something which is very important for people. But what I've done over the years is I've seen, people who are working for very, very big companies go for EB1As. And it's a lot of work, and they should consider that. Recently, we succeeded in a very difficult case, but the person was from IIT, was brilliant. Or actually, he was from Princeton, my apologies. And he was very, very bright, and his EB1A got approved because he worked for some of the finest companies. I remember that he worked for, I believe, something like Google or Facebook or whatnot. So, in a sense, when you're working for all the top giants, he loved them, of course. Permission to talk because I was representing uh, the employee, which means not the entity. So I'm allowed to talk because this was an independent green card from his end. So I have high respect for all these big companies, but he had worked in the past for them. So in a sense, he was eligible to apply. So when you're in the top, we called it in the creme de la creme level, or if you're someone who's worked for a company for a long time, a Fortune 500, I think you should definitely take a chance to meet with an attorney, work on the paperwork, then there's a very good possibility that you may get approved. So this is the live show. If people have any questions, they can definitely ask me. And I'm here with Max, who's doing a fabulous job. Max, I love immigration question. I'm one of the founders, as you know. But what I've liked about immigration question is, I mean, it's amazing because there's a newsletter that people get. So you get legal news. Plus, nowadays, there's a new thing which you started, Max, and some others, including Nikita and a host of other people. I love your news section videos, wherein you're giving breaking news, and that's helping a lot of people. And I would strongly recommend people next week onwards, after 1 or 2 weeks, start kind of downloading the immigration question app, because you'll get breaking news. You're going to get the visa bulletin on your fingertips. You'll also be able to ask a lot of questions to immigration attorneys. Immigration attorneys are also going to benefit because they can really talk to people online, generate business and grow the business. And also, as you know, being the founder, I must openly disclose it, because I don't sugarcoat when I talk. Yes, I'm the founder, and I love, as an attorney, I must say that I love the case management program. Of course, I'm not the only person responsible for this. There are many, many, many people behind my legal software, and I cannot thank each one of them enough. But I do like the case management software very much. It helps me a lot, and I think immigrationquestion.com is the only platform that is the case management and the lead generation program. And I think a lot of lawyers can benefit. And it's an open platform. Any lawyer from anywhere can subscribe it, and they can see the magic that has been done. But I don't owe it to me, so please don't look at me that as though I did everything. It's people like Atharva, Max, Chidinma, Hira, and Nikita, and the backend team, and plus all the people who bring about the show. There are many, many people that I cannot thank enough, for making this a success. And I think you have close to 100 lawyers, 99 or 100 now who signed up with you. What's the number, Max?
It's getting pretty high with the numbers, attorney, and I'm very glad to be working on this project with you. To everyone
Thank
joining
you.
us from Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, thank you for being here. Whether you're a
We'll be
legal
happy to take any
professional,
questions if you have. We have some time for questions. If you have any
yes, attorney.
questions, they can
Mhm.
ask us.
Whether you're a legal professional, community advocate, or someone just looking to understand immigration better, we're grateful to have you here. And if this is your
Folks,
first time with us,
download
welcome.
the app. Download the app and ask your questions. Download the immigrationquestion.com app and ask questions. You may get an answer from me. Tell your friends to download the app. It's an amazing app for people who have immigration questions. That's the first thing I would say. Immigrationquestion.com, the app is meant for people to ask immigration questions. How simple could that be? So if you have an immigration question, remember immigrationquestion.com and post your question. How simple can that be?
We are immigrationquestion.com, a meeting ground between immigration attorneys and individuals seeking answers to immigration questions. Our two-in-one platform is built with outstanding features to help simplify the immigration process. Though we are not affiliated with AILA, we are trusted by many AILA attorneys who used our platforms. With immigrationquestion.com, you can also ask your immigration questions for free in any language and get connected with a licensed attorney for legal guidance. And yes, just like many of our users, you may also receive a free confidential initial consultation. Just visit www.immigrationquestion.com to learn more. And it gets better. We just launched our new mobile app designed to make access even easier. Whether you're a user or an attorney, we have amazing news. Immigrationquestion.com is now BBB accredited. We're proud to announce that
That
immigrationquestion.com
is
has
great
earned,
news.
yes, sir, Better Business Bureau accreditation, and we are now bearing the mark of trust built on BBB standards. Honest advertising, transparency, honoring promises, and handling consumer concerns the right way. This
Yes,
recognition shows our ongoing commitment to serve you with integrity.
and another thing, immigrationquestion.com is a meeting ground between lawyers and between the public. It's not a law firm. So wanted to add that also to correct people if they want to know. Now, if USCIS rejects my case because of a mistake, do I lose my priority date? Now that depends. Uh, if it's a mistake, you can fix the documents, you can be good to go. So that's a good question from Annabella. Any other questions, folks?
All right, so we have a question from Emmanuel. He's asking, how
Okay,
long
how
will
long
it
will
take
it take for my date is current to
is
get a green
current to
card?
get a green card?
All right. It depends on under what category you are filed. And once if someone knows your category, you can easily figure it out.
A question from Devika. I missed the window when my date was current. Can I still apply?
You have one more year from the date and you'll be able to do something about it. So if you missed it, you have one more. Government gives you a year to kind of look it up and do something about it. Yes, until 1 year.
Thank you, attorney. We also have a question. Can I change my employer and still keep my priority date?
Yes, if you're under the employment-based immigration category, you need to look at 106C of the American Competitiveness Act. If you follow the 106C rule, then you may be eligible to change your employer. Look at 106C of the American Competitiveness Act, and if I-140 is pending for a certain time, more than 6 months after it's approved, then you should be allowed to change your employer.
From Ricardo, what is the difference between final action date and filing date?
All right. The filing date is your priority date when you file. Final action date is, as I mentioned, when the date becomes current, and when you can start the filing process. The green card may take some time, but if you're in the US, you may at least be able to get a work permit in the interim.
All right, and I think we have a final question. We have it here from Josephine. My priority date was current, then it shifted back. What does that mean?
Means you have to wait. Unfortunately, that's bad luck. We'll wait for it to get current, then you should be okay. So the instant program is an attorney advertisement from Gay and Associates and does not constitute legal advice. Any information given on the show does not constitute legal advice unless and until an attorney-client agreement is entered into between the parties. And Gay and Associates is a separate entity, not affiliated with My Legal Software, which is the parent company of Immigration Question. And it's been a pleasure being on the show. And if anyone has any questions, they can reach me, Naresh and Gay, and you can, look me up and I'll be happy to answer your questions. And thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure, Max, being on the show. And thank you for the great work which immigrationquestion.com is doing. And it is actually the meeting ground for people who have immigration questions and for lawyers to answer those questions. It's a win win for immigration attorneys and for people to download the app and ask your questions. And you can do something else. Share the app with someone else so he gets a chance to ask the immigration questions. So isn't that a win-win for everyone? So I think it's a win-win for everyone. Immigrationquestion.com. Thank you for hosting me today. And I'll be back with some more news anytime when I'm wanted by immigrationquestion.com. And thank you to the outstanding team for the fabulous job that each one of you are doing in hosting this precious show, which is helping people to get their immigration question answered. So whenever you have an immigration question, visit immigrationquestion.com. Thank you all. And Max, you may continue with your messages to the audience about your next show and let them know when you'll be back with the audience. Thank you again
Most
for having
definitely,
me.
attorney. Thank you very much. Thank you for breaking this down with such clarity. Your insights on priority dates and filing strategies give families and professionals a roadmap to approach the visa bulletin with confidence. To our
Thank you.
audience, thank you again for joining us. We hope this conversation has given you clarity on responding to requests for evidence. And don't forget, at immigrationquestion.com, you can ask your immigration questions for free and get in touch with a licensed attorney who understands your case. You may also be eligible for a free confidential consultation. So head on over to www.immigrationquestion.com to sign up today. And if you want to revisit this session or just share it with a colleague, you can catch the replay on Spotify. Just search Borderline Talk by immigrationquestion.com. Join us again on Friday for another enlightening conversation you won't want to miss. Once again, thank you very much, Attorney Gahi. We can't wait to have you back. Have a lovely rest of your day.